Wow, the color of the water.
Have you ever thought solo female motorcycling is all about freedom, wide open roads, and picture-perfect drone shots? Think again, because while the world sees breathtaking mountain passes and fearless smiles, what they don't see are the dark nights in unknown towns, the breakdowns with no signal, the sickness in a foreign land with no one around. They don't hear the catcalls at sketchy gas stations or see the silent panic when a stranger gets too close. And they certainly don't know what it's like to be a woman, alone, on two wheels in places where women aren't expected to ride at all. This is the real story of Noraly, better known as Itchy Boots. From a lab in the Netherlands to crossing deserts in Iran, jungles in Colombia, and frozen valleys in Kyrgyzstan, Noraly didn't just quit her job to follow a dream. She walked away from safety into the unknown with nothing but a motorcycle, a camera, and a will of steel. But the dark truth, it wasn't the terrain that nearly broke her. It was the isolation, the fear, the doubt, and the constant whisper from critics online. She can't really be doing this alone. Born and raised in the Netherlands, Noraly wasn't a rebellious child or she wasn't wild, but there was always a sense of quiet restlessness beneath her composed surface. She grew up listening to stories of faraway lands, explorers, and endless roads. Her family recalls her as being curious and thoughtful, but always looking towards the horizon. She followed the right path. That was studying hard and earning a degree in geochemistry, landed a prestigious job with a mining company, and her work took her to remote parts of the world like Africa, Australia, the Arctic, places most people would only dream of seeing. And yet, even surrounded by breathtaking landscapes, something always felt incomplete. Beyond just seeing the world, she always wanted to feel it and to move with it on her own terms. In 2018, Noraly made a choice that most would call reckless. She left her job and sold nearly everything she owned and bought a one-way ticket to India. No grand plan or no big sponsors, just a woman with a backpack and a vision. But the backpack life soon started to feel limiting. Buses and trains now seemed rigid and schedules became too suffocating. That's when she discovered motorcycles. They gave her what she had always longed for, freedom on her own terms. She bought her first bike, a Royal Enfield Himalayan. She named it Basanti. And the two began an unforgettable journey through South and Southeast Asia. That marked the birth of Itchy Boots. In the early days, Noraly did everything herself, including writing, filming, editing, uploading, all while living on a tight budget and navigating unfamiliar terrains that life had for her. Her first videos didn't go viral or anything like overnight success showed up for her. There were no production crews, no flashy intros, just her raw perspective, breathtaking scenery, and unfiltered honesty. But people began to notice, not because of gimmicks, but because of her spirit and the liveliness that resonated, the courage it takes to ride alone, the way she spoke to the camera just like an old friend, the strength behind her vulnerability. How do you keep going when the road is long, the nights are cold, and no one is watching yet? Noraly's journey from obscurity to a global fan base didn't come without scars. As she crossed over 60 countries, including Bolivia, Kyrgyzstan, Iran, and Colombia, she documented both the highs and the lows. Flat tires in the middle of nowhere accompanied by harsh weather, border checkpoints, illness in unfamiliar places, and the loneliness of being a solo traveler, often the only woman for miles. But what most people don't see is the emotional toll. Traveling as a solo woman, especially through remote or conservative regions, comes with a unique set of risks. Noraly has faced moments of fear when strangers got too close. She's dealt with catcalls in crowded markets, unwanted stares at gas stations, and the kind of persistent doubt that only women seem to receive. Are you sure you can do this? Sometimes the biggest battles were not the ones which came on the road, but in her mind. There were days she wanted to stop. At night, she cried herself to sleep in a tent or roadside motel. And yet, every morning, she woke up and kept riding along with the winds. With fame came admiration, but also criticism followed. There are viewers who question her skills, accusing her of staging her challenges or secretly relying on a crew. Others made inappropriate comments about her appearance, as if her physicality overshadows her courage. Some even falsely assume she must be using platforms like OnlyFans, as if a woman succeeding independently, gaining attention online, must be selling herself in some way. Noraly's success comes not from anything provocative, but from pure grit, storytelling, and unmatched consistency. Her videos are clean, thoughtful, and empowering. The only thing she's selling is a dream, that you too can build a life you love, whether on two wheels or otherwise. She funds her travels through ad revenue, sponsorships, merchandise, and her loyal Patreon supporters. Every dollar is earned with dust, fuel, and storytelling. She holds creative control fiercely, refusing to sell out or dilute her mission. One of Noraly's defining qualities is her honesty. Whether she's struggling to breathe at high altitude in the Andes, fixing her bike in the mud, or sipping tea with strangers in a mountain village, she's always herself. There are no acts or any kind of pretentiousness. Her openness about fear, failure, and fatigue is what makes her videos so powerful. She reminds us that being brave doesn't mean being fearless, it means being afraid and doing it anyway. Despite her cool composure, Noraly has battled moments of exhaustion and even illness. She once continued riding through early symptoms of flu in remote Patagonia, uncertain if she'd find shelter before nightfall. Another time, she was nearly stranded in the middle of a Kyrgyz desert with a busted fuel line and no reception. But even when her health falters, her spirit doesn't. Noraly never set out to be a symbol, but for many women, especially those told they're too soft, too small, or too pretty for adventure, she's truly a revelation. She's living proof that a woman can ride alone, can fix her own bike, can cross borders, both literal and metaphorical. That independence should not be a performance, but a practice. And her audience isn't just young women. Retired couples, fathers, mothers, seasoned bikers, and dreamers from all walks of life tune in weekly to join her rides. As of 2025, Noraly has ridden through 6 continents and continues to travel with fresh purpose. Her latest series finds her exploring some of the most remote and politically complex terrains in Central Asia. The roads are rougher, the stakes higher, but so is the storytelling. She now rides a Honda CRF 300L Rally, her trusted steed on her most demanding rides yet. And while she works with brands from time to time, her heart still beats for the road and not the deal. Her merchandise is simple yet meaningful. They help fund her rides, and her YouTube revenue continues to grow. But no matter how successful she becomes, she remains grounded. No private jets or luxury hotels, just the road, the bike, and her camera. What if the most dangerous journey is the one you never take? More than just the miles, Noraly's story revolves around motorbikes or geography, but it's also about chasing a life you choose, a life where you are the author and not just a passenger. She reminds us that adventure isn't found in perfect plans or perfect places. It's found in moments of uncertainty, risk, and wild joy. Whether she's dodging wild dogs in Colombia, navigating narrow village trails in Laos, or sipping coffee at a roadside shack in Turkey, Noraly finds beauty in the ordinary and magic in the mundane. She reminds us that the world isn't as scary as we think, and that sometimes the biggest danger is staying exactly where you are. When the universe conspires something in us, we are meant to follow it wholeheartedly, and the paths will unfold themselves beautifully. Noraly Schoenmaker is a storyteller, a builder, quiet rebel, and perhaps most importantly, a woman who listened to the itch in her soul and dared to follow it wherever it led. So the next time you feel that pull, that voice asking, "Is this all there is?" remember her story, and maybe you'll find the courage to start writing your own.